Ever since the world has become industrialized, the Earth has become a wasteland and reservoir for climate-changing gases. Overwhelming consensus in science reinforces the idea of climate change and foreshadows the economic and nature impacts. A phrase heard almost on the daily: without change, Earth and everybody on it are spiraling towards a death sentence that cannot be reversed. Animals around the globe thrive in specific conditions that change very little. When climate change affects those environments and their specific conditions, animals die or they are forced to migrate. The rise in global temperatures, for instance, is causing spring to come earlier and winter to come later. These climate differences force animals to migrate where their climatic needs are satisfied. According to staff writer Shaf Mitchell from AccuWeather, plants are blooming earlier, and squirrels such as marmots are alternating how they hibernate due to the changing climate. Mitchell states that certain fungi are starting to invade habitats, destroying the diversity that exists there. Instances like these emphasize the quick change needed in order to save habitats. The EPA.gov states that as temperatures increase, many species are forced to migrate farther north than normal. The problem with this is that native species are affected negatively. Many native species can go extinct due to unfamiliar predation, competition for food, or lack of shelter. A chain reaction is set off, and then the food chain in that ecosystem, predator-prey relationships, are thrown out of whack, and biodiversity is lost. In situations like this, the Earth is a boat with holes, destined to sink, with death and destruction ahead. Unfortunately, ecosystems are further impacted by natural events. While these events are natural, many ecosystems are equipped to naturally post such events, like wildfires and floods. However, according to EPA.gov, climate change reduces the ability of an ecosystem's natural defense system to oppose these phenomena, further damaging wildlife and ecosystem interactions, vital to life and essential for human existence. While animals on land are affected, climate change poses an even greater threat to oceans, putting marine mammals and humans who depend on it in everlasting danger. Climate change strikes like a man swinging a sword and alters life so quickly that action must take place to immediately combat it. Brad Plumes, a writer for the New York Times, states that humans are dictated by one ocean, and they are pushing its limits on different fronts. Greenhouse gases emitted by countries further inundating the ocean's resources causes ocean acidification. That can lead to coral bleaching, causing color loss and loss of function for many species of coral. In turn, the diverse ecosystems that thrive in coral reefs are destroyed, greatly affecting the local food chain. Coral bleaching also affects humans in multiple ways. For people in coastal towns that depend on fishing for a large source of food, coral bleaching causes food security concerns. The breeding grounds and source of life and food that coral reefs provide for fish is destroyed by climate change, and this directly affects humans, who rely on fishing for a main source of food, according to worldwildlife.org. Furthermore, the article also states that coral reefs bring in billions of dollars from tourism, and much of it will be lost, emphasizing the need for action. Food security is still an emerging problem around the globe, in places where there is drought and loss of marine ecosystems, but humans also face another problem: rising sea levels. According to NASA.gov, the upper zones of the ocean have risen 0.4 degrees Fahrenheit since 1969. In areas of the Arctic Ocean, glaciers and sea ice are melting to rates of more than 1 billion tons per year. The most alarming statistic is that global sea levels rose more than half a foot in the last 100 years, and the rate is increasing every year. Humans are greatly affected by this because some of the most populated cities lie on the coast. Sea level rises affect cities such as New York City, Miami, Ho Chi Minh City, Bangkok, Shanghai, Mumbai, and many more. People in these densely populated cities would be forced to move inland or become the next city of Atlantis. Moving inland has several implications, however. Moving inland could cause overflow in many cities not equipped for the large fluctuation of people, and that causes demand for land. New cities would most likely need to be built, but would take years and would be held back by likely money problems. Climate change, as evident, has many alarming problems, emphasizing the necessity of change and action. Another deadly consequence of climate change is the ability to aid the spread of disease. The CDC.gov gives evidence that demonstrates how diseases spread through vectors are influenced by climate change. Back to earlier evidence about ecosystem destruction, some ecosystems where mosquitoes and ticks thrive can be destroyed by climate impacts. Thus, many move to less populated areas to more populated areas, such as cities. Worldwide rise in temperatures also supports breeding grounds for mosquitoes, which then increases the chance of spread of diseases such as malaria, West Nile virus, and the dengue fever. In places where disease spread is more local, it can also become more widespread as a result of climate change, such as malaria, which normally spreads in Africa and India, to parts of Europe. Despite overwhelming data and statistics in favor of the existence of climate change, many still believe it is non-existent, and instead warming the Earth due to natural occurrences. Some say that climate-altering gases exist in too low a quantity to alter the climate, according to Procon.org. They also say that the planet is able to naturally absorb the gases that are emitted. Another argument is that changes in ocean currents and the sun's heat are to blame for worldwide warming, and that current climate models have errors and inaccuracies. A study conducted by Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics found that climatic events and temperatures are not likely the warmest in the last 1,000 years. While both sides have compelling arguments, data overwhelmingly displays that climate change is and will alter ecosystems worldwide. Politics unfortunately play a big role on whether or not action is taken. Climate change can be solved. Climate change has weaknesses, and climate change can be prevented by adopting new measures such as clean energy in the form of solar farms. Electric cars also pose an answer to curbing climate change. According to UCSUSA.org, U.S. transportation contributes 30% of emissions. Another way to help prevent changes deforestation is by limiting deforestation, according to scientificamerican.com, which states that 33 million acres of trees are cut down every year. Trees are vital in collecting CO2 to stop it from accumulating in the atmosphere, which furthers climate change's effects. Overall, many solutions exist in combating climate change. Action starts with everyone, whether it is a daily change in one's life or activism. The danger is existential and needs to be prevented now. It will take a global effort, but it is possible, as long as humans unite and become educated on the issue and how it affects humans and animals. Thank you.